Today, I'm going to talk about the biggest fat loss lie that exists. Maybe it's been on purpose. Maybe it's really just been a runaway train of information that's been hard to change. But we're going to talk about the thing that's been keeping you dieting, keeping you over-exercising, keeping you focused on the wrong things and over-supplementing for decades. It has to do with cardio. It also has to do with calories. And it has to do with specific targets that we need to hit on a daily basis that are basic, fundamental biological needs. So in today's video, we'll address what the big lie is, and we'll talk about it specifically, and then we'll get into the more pragmatic details, like why cardio isn't doing what you think it's doing. Even though I love cardio, we just need to be able to make sure we are doing something imperative afterwards, or it will backfire. And then we'll talk about a specific lifestyle that can help you with fat loss, help you with insulin resistance, and just more practical takeaways so you can have actionable steps with this video. So imagine calories weren't the big picture. Imagine if it was more about hitting a specific protein target. And imagine if that protein target would change based on different things, which we're going to talk about today. What if there was evidence way back in the early 2000s that this was what was keeping us hungry, not meeting a specific protein need? So way back in 2005, we started to see this in animal and human model studies, that people and animals would eat continuously until their protein needs are met. So it wasn't about protein being satiating, it was about a deeply rooted biological system that tells us we need protein to survive. But what does this have to do with the whole over-exercising and calories thing? We've been told to count our calories. That's the most basic, simple way to do things. But even though it might work, I think it's missing the forest for the trees. But with cardio and high-intensity exercise, which I love, this entire protein target that I'm talking about changes. And it keeps us overeating consistently. So let me paint a picture like this. So we need to get about 0.6 grams of protein per pound of body weight just to turn the signal off. That's not our daily needs to build muscle and have protein. That's just to turn this system off. So we're going to eat and 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 eat until we get to that number. So quick hack, get that number as early as you can in the day. But cardio, we saw a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that showed that high intensity interval training and higher intensity cardio and some higher intensity weight training would increase the muscle turnover. That's a good thing, right? But what this muscle turnover would do is it would tell the hypothalamus, the portion of our brain that's receiving these signals about the protein target, that we temporarily increase our protein target. So on the surface, it's simple. On the surface, we'll eat enough protein. But what's not told, the big lie, is that if we don't get to that protein need, if we don't hit that protein target, we will eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat until we hit that target. And it increases after we work out and after we do cardio. So you go to the gym, you bust your butt and do a lot of cardio like you're supposed to, and you burn fat, right? Okay, but what they didn't tell you is that your protein target has temporarily changed. So your appetite, whether you know it or not, is increasing, and you're going to eat and eat and eat until you get to that protein need. So you might eat carbs, you might eat fat, and you might just continue to eat carbs and fat until you get to that protein amount. You can turn this off by hitting your protein target early in the day. But remember that your protein target also goes up after cardio. So not getting protein after cardio is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. And it's a mistake that a lot of people, including myself, fall victim to. So you have now signaled the body to eat more and more and more by doing cardio because it's demanding more protein. But we've been told that protein really only matters for resistance training. So you go do your cardio and you don't have protein for maybe a few hours, but until then you just eat and eat, but your entire target is shifted. So how do we go about correcting this? What can we do to fix it? Well, for one, immediately after your workout, you can do two things. You can either have some essential amino acids that could help you a whole lot, that can actually signal some of that to buffer and turn off, but also within an hour, simply have some whey protein and some collagen protein. We are now seeing the evidence that whey protein and collagen protein together work very well because we don't just have muscle protein synthesis. We also have connective tissue protein synthesis. And that is stimulated more so by just stretching the ligaments and the tendons, and collagen is going to repair that. So they don't just work unanimously, where collagen is, you're going to get collagen from your whey protein. You need to have whey protein and have collagen. Collagen is definitely going to curb the appetite, definitely going to help repair some of the connective tissue that might continue some of this signaling, because we're designed to be getting full spectrum nutrition, right? We're designed to be getting all the meat and the gristle. So if we're missing something important, we're going to eat until we get it. I put a link below for the collagen I recommend as well. It's a company called Bubs, really good quality stuff, super clean, no other fillers or ingredients, just plain hydrolyzed bovine collagen. The simple stuff, it mixes almost instantly in water or any beverage. It is the cleanest, simplest collagen that's out there, and they have a good message and a good cause. 10% of all their profits go to a charity in the name of Glenn Bub Doherty. Okay, that's a very famed Navy SEAL that gave up his life for this country, tremendous gentleman, and a great company doing a good thing with a good mission and a good message. But if you simply want the highest quality collagen that's out there, Bubs is period point blank the one. That link is in the top link of the description, also gets you a special discount. Putting this all together, I gave you a quick hack, a quick trick, right? The protein in the morning, the extra protein and collagen after a workout, but we're now starting to uncover that our body will continue to crave food and calories until protein, calcium, and even other minerals are met. So we're learning about bones, and that the bones are so important to the body that we are going to need to eat enough calcium. Until we get enough calcium, our body's going to remain hungry, just like with protein. So our hypothalamus and our liver sense protein and calcium in this way. Our hypothalamus will tell our body to keep eating until we get protein and calcium. Our liver will upregulate protein appetite until we get enough protein. So calcium becomes important. So things like dairy, things like yogurt, things like whey protein, things like cottage cheese, things like sardines that have the bone. This makes a difference. But also, we're starting to find that other nutrients are critical for this too, and that calcium and other minerals actually impacts leptin resistance and leptin signaling. So I'm not saying that calories aren't important, but I am saying we haven't been told the full story. In many ways, we've been lied to by omission, because this is more important. I will die on that hill. I think calories matter, but I think they're in the passenger seat. I think the nutrient quality, the protein, the minerals take the first priority. And if you get those in first, then you're not going to eat as many calories. So it's not that calories don't matter. It's that we are putting the wrong thing first. We need to be focusing on the protein, the calcium, the minerals, the salt, the potassium, and heck, what about all the other fat-soluble vitamins that we can't get unless we're eating things like good quality protein? It's kind of interesting that they all kind of come together, right? Beef liver, ground beef. Ground beef gets the gristle, gets all these things. So how do you implement this into your life as a lifestyle? A perfect breakfast that I would recommend having is eggs with some ground beef. Then you work out and you have either some essential amino acids or you have a little bit of whey protein and collagen mixed. Then you have a higher protein lunch with maybe a little bit more fat. And then with dinner, you keep your protein lean and you keep your carbohydrates higher. Now, sounds crazy, but this will A, help you sleep, and it will also make it so that earlier in the day when you had all that protein, you're not going to want to eat those carbs as much. Mark my words, because the hypothalamus is not telling you you need to eat more. This is one of the simplest hacks that we could possibly know. And if we haven't just been consistently told that we need to just eat less and move more, do more cardio that's causing more of this issue, then we would have figured this out years ago on our own. So instead, we have low-fat, nutrient-deprived processed foods that just leave us devoid of nutrients and wanting to eat more and more and more. Now, I did a great video that broke down a cool thing that you can do before bed to help you sleep through the night and really drive cortisol down to the floor. Super important. I put that video right here if you want to check it out. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel. See you tomorrow.